Coming up, spring has finally begun, but snowstorms are still in the forecast. Plus, Indigenous students want to change the name of a northern Arizona landmark. The news starts now.
You're watching NAZ Today, Northern Arizona's local news.
Good evening and welcome back to NAZ Today. I'm Tori Smith.
And I'm Matt Keenitz. Thanks for tuning in.
Just when we thought the snowy days were over and spring has officially sprung, Mother Nature gave us another storm in the high country.
NAZ Today's Michaela Richardson has more on what these conditions are currently looking like.
Thanks, Matt and Tori. Now today we were able to see some warmer weather and the sun for the first time in a couple days. However, that means that a lot of the snow on the ground is melting, which could cause some flooding in the lower northern Arizona regions. So please use caution when you are driving and make sure you are on alert for those weather flood warnings. In northern Arizona, you are in a winter storm warning today, and storms will continue into Thursday.
NAU's Black Student Union is hosting a protest this Friday, March 24th from 1 to 3 p.m. for what they say is, quote, blatant racism by the university and its students. This comes less than 2 weeks after NAU's Health and Learning Center displayed racist imagery on its TVs. The screenshots are banned from an episode of Looney Tunes cartoons due to the use of offensive caricatures of Black people.
It's been a lot of apologies from their end, but we don't feel like their apologies are genuine. It's just like saying sorry to leave it in the past so that we can leave it behind and forget about it, but we're not forgetting about it this time.
And I don't think that, necessarily there's one specific group to blame and there's one specific person to hold accountable. I think it's holding all of us accountable. I think it's holding the NAU community accountable. And I think it's, really starting to change just the behavior, the attitudes, the atmosphere.
NAU spokesperson Kimberly Ott says, quote, please know that the university is taking this matter very seriously and responded immediately as soon as it was brought to our attention. Campus recreation and our university community as a whole does not endorse the televising of such content, which does not align with our values. Ott says the university has taken steps to prevent broadcasts such as this in the future and has personally reached out to those affected.
Indigenous groups are calling on government officials to change the name of Agassiz Peak.
Michaela Richardson joins us live in the studio with more.
Thanks, Tori. Students at Flagstaff High School say the change would shine a more positive light on Flagstaff. The peak is named after a man with a controversial history, and a group of Indigenous students say it is time to rename the landmark. Agassiz was known for supporting the disproven theory that some races are superior to others.
These young people have brought forth Indigenous knowledge that has lasted and existed for thousands upon thousands of years, giving it new life, letting people know how important that is, educating and bringing forth the restoration of that name.
For many Indigenous tribes, the San Francisco Peaks are sacred. By renaming Agassiz Peak to the Hopi name Omaki, activists hope to empower residents.
As Indigenous people, we get to not only come home to our mother, this mountain, but to give her that respect, to recognize her by her name.
Machias Marks, an NAU student activist, says he is grateful to witness this change.
It feels good because I know my elders wouldn't have the opportunity to be that vulnerable, the opportunity to hold on to their humanity, the privilege to hold on to their identity. It brings up a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, but I'm grateful now that we're doing the work.
As for NAU's involvement, he says the university must stop supporting Snowball.
NAU has to acknowledge its relationship to the ski resort, Snowball, because Snowball also plays a big role in the restoration of the name. Because if you're gonna have Omaki be the peak name, you also have to respect it as such.
The U.S. Board of Geographic Names has forwarded the proposal to a similar board at the state level for a review and a recommendation on the name change. Michaela Richardson, NAZ Today.
A Yavapai County judge has been arrested on suspicion of an extreme DUI. It happened Sunday when Prescott police responded to reports of an impaired driver. Judge Celia Hancock was first elected to the bench in 2010 and has been a supporter of DUI rehabilitation court programs. Her blood alcohol concentration was initially 0.15% and at later tests was above 0.2.
The Supreme Court appears to be split in a dispute between the federal government and the Navajo Nation over Colorado River water rights. Attorneys representing the Navajo Nation told the justices the water request is modest, but the Biden administration says if the court sides with the Navajo Nation, the federal government could face lawsuits from other tribes wanting water rates. In other news, NAU has evacuated several buildings due to a strange odor. The odor has been deemed to be non-toxic, but still a number of buildings, most on the North Campus, remain closed while firefighters check for the source of the smell.
The American Disabilities Act has been around since 1990, and it helps make spaces accommodating on campus. NAU has plans to make campus accessible for students and faculty. NAZ Today's Jordan Ballender says it's no easy task.
Disability Resources is the university office that makes sure the law is followed.
Building accessibility is a highly regulated area under the ADA. So the Americans with Disabilities Act actually has a whole set of construction and renovation guidelines and requirements that must be followed. So we work with facility services very closely.
One of the biggest challenges everyone faces is getting around campus when it snows. It's particularly problematic for those with disabilities.
We work with facilities to have a snow removal plan where we first identify what are the designated accessible paths of travel around campus, and those receive priority for snow removal.
The design department on campus provides ways to make a building more accessible.
We just follow the standards that are given to us, and then we're also using our own judgment on our social responsibility to students and all people of all walks of life.
NAU has older and newer buildings on campus, which means some buildings won't get additional features, at least in part due to cost.
A lot of these older buildings are probably not going to get any kind of retrofitting because they were built before the ADA was put in place. But I think obviously the newer buildings that they're building are definitely meeting that requirement.
For more information, visit their office or go online to in.nau.edu/disability resources. Jordan Ballender, NAZ Today.
Each week, we do a segment on a pet that's ready for a new home.
NAZ Today's Carson Hawkins shows us a dog who's both playful and a sweetheart.
This week, we went down to Coconino Humane to meet Heidi, an 18-month-old pointer mix who does great on a leash and knows her basic commands.
Came into us back in December with a whole bunch of her puppies. Puppies already got adopted, so now we need to get Heidi into her forever home.
Heidi is already spayed and has received her shots, including her rabies shot, so she's ready to be a great companion. Heidi's adoption cost has already been covered, meaning new pet owners won't need to pay any upfront fee to take her home.
She's good with people. She's been really well with all the folks that come in here. Kids, adults, we haven't had any trouble with her interacting with any people at all.
While Heidi could do well in any size home, being a bigger dog means a larger place might be more accommodating for her energy.
She's going to need somebody who's going to have a little bit of energy, so she likes to go for walks. So you need somebody who's going to be able to walk her each day at least. A family wouldn't be really good for her, something to keep her, keep the energy down. She'd be a nice, happy dog.
As we said, Heidi is ready to go, and someone has already paid the adoption fee, so we're hoping she will find a home quickly. Carson Hawkins, NAZ Today.
Coming up, still no word on whether former President Trump will be indicted. Stay with us.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to Dad.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
After former President Trump predicted he'd be arrested, there's no indictment yet, but he does face possible charges in one of 4 criminal investigations he is involved in.
CNN's Paula Reed takes a closer look at the case.
Right now, former President Trump is facing no fewer than 4 criminal investigations.
The investigation concerning the former president's ongoing.
The case that seems to be putting Trump in the most immediate jeopardy, the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation into hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels.
President, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No.
The case involves potentially falsified business records and possible campaign finance violations, something that would have surprised Trump back in 1999.
I think nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do.
The payments to Daniels were facilitated by Cohen in the final days of the 2016 campaign. The Access Hollywood tape had just come out.
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
And Daniels was allegedly trying to sell her story about sleeping with Trump.
Was it hush money to stay silent?
Yes. The story was coming out again.
Cohen, Trump's former fixer and personal attorney, became one of his primary antagonists.
I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Cohen has met with the Manhattan DA's office 20 times and appeared before the grand jury twice to testify about a $130,000 payment to Daniels to silence her about an alleged affair with Trump.
Mr. President!
Trump denies any such affair. Now, almost 7 years later, the case may be coming to a conclusion. But while this particular investigation may be the most imminent, legal experts say it's far from the most consequential. Trump is also facing a dual-pronged special counsel investigation.
It is in the public interest to appoint a special counsel,
examining both the former president's handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago and possible obstruction.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
And his involvement in the events leading up to the storming of the Capitol on January 6th.
Jack Smith's case is the most important because it's the constitutionally most significant to the country.
And that's not the only investigation related to the 2020 election and its aftermath. In Georgia, Fulton County DA Fani Willis is looking into Trump and his allies' efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
In that case, a special grand jury returned a report recommending multiple indictments, and the DA is still deciding on whether to bring charges.
The Manhattan grand jury that has been hearing evidence in the Trump case will not meet Wednesday, according to a source familiar with the case.
Does your family need a break from the daily routine?
Hello, I'm Dr.
Dr. Spruce. If you or someone you know needs a healthy dose of nature, visit discovertheforest.org and trade in the big screen for the big blue sky by visiting a local park or forest near you.
Hiking, picnicking, swimming, orienteering, climbing, admiring wildlife, or inhaling fresh air may result in heightened creativity, feelings of joy, harmony, satisfaction, and a euphoria that can only be explained as oneness with the natural world. Whoa.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
How prepared is your family if a wildfire shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or an earthquake? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. My name is Michaela Richardson, and I will be your student forecaster on this Wednesday afternoon. Now, taking a look at our current temperatures, we do have 36 degrees outside, but that southwest wind of 17 miles per hour, makes it feel almost like 26 degrees. We do have partly cloudy skies outside and a relative humidity of 55%. Now, taking a look at our current satellite, we do have a little bit of cloud coverage up in northern Arizona, but the most cloud coverage is in the southeastern region over here. Now, with those southwest winds that I was talking about earlier, this cluster of clouds will be coming into the northern Arizona area later on tonight. Looking at our daily almanac, the temperatures for today were a high of 39 and a low of 16 degrees. The average is a bit above where we are at today, with a average high of 54 degrees and an average low of 25. Those records we have today are set in our record high of 68 degrees in 2004 and our record low of -1 set in 1952. Looking at our precipitation for the day, yesterday we got 2.38 inches, which really contributes to that 15.16 inches that we have had since January 1st. Now we are triple that average of 5.63 inches. Looking at our sunrise today, we had it at 6:28 a.m. and our sunset will be at 6:40 tonight. Looking at the high temperatures for today across northern Arizona, Sedona, you guys had 51 degrees, Page, you had 47, Las Vegas, 63 degrees, and Phoenix at the same amount, and Payson at 43 degrees. Taking a look at our forecast low for tonight, we will be seeing 16 degrees as our low, and the partly cloudy skies, like I mentioned earlier, will be coming in, and our sunset will be at 6:40 once again. Going into tomorrow, we will have a forecast high of 39 degrees, and don't let those partially sunny skies fool you. We will be having a 20 to 50% chance of snowfall throughout the day. Now, looking at our sunrise for tomorrow, we have it at 6:26 a.m., and our sunset will be 1 minute after today's sunset at 6:41 p.m. Going into our forecast temperatures for tomorrow across the northern Arizona, we will be seeing a high of 50 degrees in Tuba City with a low of 31, the same in Payson with a high of 50 and 31, a high of 51 in Sedona and a low of 36, a high of 68 in Phoenix and a low of 48. You guys are staying pretty warm down there, and a high of 66 and a low of 52 in Lake Havasu. Looking at our Flagstaff extended, we have a high of 39 and a low of 21 tomorrow, and the weather conditions from Thursday will be coming into the rest of the weekend. So we will be having a high of 40 degrees on Friday with a low of 16, a high of 38 degrees on Saturday with a low of 14, and then Sunday and Monday we will finally be getting that snow that sunshine back. Now that is all I have for you guys right now. Stay tuned after the break for your sports with Michael Manny.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go?
This is my boss, Ella.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome. Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
So we were walking to school. I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really
smart.
want cheese pizza.
Sometimes her mind wanders.
We should have a sleepover.
I remember saying, Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope I
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Good evening and welcome back to NAZ Today. I'm Michael Manny, your sports reporter for tonight. Let's dive in. 2 weekends ago, the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series made its return to Phoenix Raceway in Avondale to finish up the West Coast swing. William Byron, driver of the number 24 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 for Hendrick Motorsports, took home his second consecutive victory, holding off teammate Kyle Larson and a host of others in overtime. Here's what Byron had to say about the finish.
Yeah, I don't love winning races that way. It's very stressful. It's a lot of tactics, going on with the restarts. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a good challenge for us because you're all tired and you're all into that long run mode mentally, and then you have to have a pit stop and you have to somehow reset and get into, okay, how do I get a good restart?
3 days after the race, all 4 Hendrick teams were penalized 100 driver points and 10 playoff points due to an unapproved modification of a single-sourced vendor-supplied part. On a local note, though, Tucson native Alex Bowman finished the race 9th. That's his best result at his home track since 2016. And Glendale's Michael McDowell followed a career-best 7th place start to earn a 13th place finish, the best of his career at Phoenix Raceway. But meanwhile, NAU football started back up on Monday to kick off their spring season. The team will travel to Phoenix for their spring exhibition game on April 1st. Joining the roster this spring, 11 new transfers and a new offensive line coach, Austin Davis, who is joining the staff from North Carolina State, where he was the offensive line graduate assistant, and he stepped in as the interim coach for the 2022 Duke's Mayo Bowl. Also, NAU will be hosting their Pro Day next Tuesday, and 8 alumni will be back in town to show off their talent in front of NFL scouts. Just before spring break, the NAU men's basketball team made it to the Big Sky Championship as a 9th seed, shocking the conference. But now we have some breaking news. As of this morning, star guard Jalen Cone has entered the transfer portal. Cone led the team in scoring, averaging 17.6 points per game this year, and he made a huge impact in his 2 years in Flagstaff, reaching the 1,000-point milestone against Sacramento State in February. Cone was named to the All-Tournament team and was also third-team Big Sky this year. Also, freshmen Preston Kilbert and senior Keith Heyman have also entered the transfer portal, Heyman as a grad transfer. Well, that's all I have for tonight for Northern Arizona sports, but stay tuned for your weather recap with Michaela Richardson after the break.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes, but with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay. You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in. Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Get out to the forest.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah! Woo-hoo!
Hey, guys, wait up!
And discover the wonders of nature with your family.
These trees are the key to our way of life.
Fresh air.
What a glorious morning!
Clean water.
Woohoo! This is great!
An endless forest adventure.
Let's rock this jungle! Yo, this is untapped territory.
How amazing!
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back. Now, like I said earlier, we will be having some gloomy skies and the chance of snow Thursday going into Saturday, but Sunday and Monday we will be having warmer temperatures and sunny skies. Now, spring started on Monday, but with the way our 5-day forecast is currently looking, winter is still staying here.
And on that note, it's spring cleaning season. One tip that I personally live by is trying to declutter as much as possible and donating things that aren't needed or wanted anymore.
And remember to start cleaning from the top and work your way down. I always look forward to cleaning and arranging the cabinets, washing the windows and floors. It's a great fresh start to a new season.
Michael, do you look forward to anything during spring cleaning?
Yeah, well, it's just nice to get all the clutter from the fall and the winter and just, yeah, exactly, a fresh start.
I agree. Well, that is all we have for you today. You definitely want to go check us out on our social media platforms. We have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So definitely go check that out, and we'll be back tomorrow with another weather. Have a good night, you guys.